You spoke about how people are using sex as a
coping mechanism.
Of calming them down from depression and stuff. Can you go deep? Greetings, guys, and welcome to your show, the Mastermind Podcast. And you know it, guys, this is the show where we give you nothing but life nuggets. And sekuziya kwenyu, guys, pa show panapa tinongoramba tichingokuunzirai vanhu vakawanda wanda vanenge vachingotipa information that you benefit from, and that also even someone that you know can benefit from the information that we share here. So today I'm joined by a gentleman watinaye munomu in the studio today, and he's going to be talking to us about living abroad. But I'm going to give him the honors to introduce himself.
Thank you for having me today, and it's an honor to be here. Nice platform. I just want to say thank you for giving us this opportunity to be able to reach out to our audience here in Dubai and obviously back home in Zimbabwe. My name is Kevin. I've been living in Dubai for 6 years now. Today's topic will be living abroad. I think I can have a little bit to share because I've lived in South Africa for more than a decade. I've lived in Qatar, I've lived in the US, and now 6 years in Dubai. So, yeah, tatendere.
Wow. That's like a lifetime, bro.
Sure. Pretty much all my adult life, I've been living outside of the country.
Okay. Saka, this brings me to the question, chi chakaita kuti uzobva kuSIM. What made you leave Zim and say, I want to start my life abroad?
Yes. So the decision was made in 2003.
Okay.
Actually, that is when I made the decision, but the actual moving happened in 2007. So 2003, a lot was happening in Zim. And then when my mom passed away, Tango, me and my siblings. And that time down through college, and then because of certain things, you couldn't continue going to Uchkoro and all that and stuff. So you what, I need to find something that can help me sustain myself because atokura and America was CC, and now life has to go on. And then Zimbabwe, Sandra, Bonmashe, okay, Zimbabwe. Then 2007, my brother-in-law one day just decided, because Night was in South Africa, I'm not going to Zimbabwe, to Garma Bridge, telling us, Then one day my brother-in-law came and he's like, it's a and they go South Africa and to Cape Town. So it's just like, really? And then that day we made that decision in 2007. End. Interesting part, I didn't have a passport. Actually, passport and I South Africa. That's it. Yeah, I didn't have a passport. And then I went to South Africa. And then, the rest is history.
The rest is history. But now it's more than 2 decades, right? It's more than 2 decades since you moved from Zim.
Yeah.
Do you regret, or did you at one point regretted to say maybe ndaenda kungogara kuZim, team rangu iri pamwe? You have some of your friends maybe who are making it in Zim, right? Mm-hmm. And maybe wangoti maybe this was the right decision. Did you ever get to that point?
I think it's natural to always have that feeling, Yakuti, what if I stayed? What if I was home? Because home is always home. Like I said, I've lived in South Africa for more than a decade. I went to the US. There is that always missing thing about just saying a sense of belonging, of saying this is Depango, which you'd never find. That certification, you'll never find it elsewhere. It's only something that you can get at home. And the disconnect that you end up getting with, let's say, family back home, people that you grew up with, because you end up disconnecting with them, and you're forced to build new relationships. Because people are making it, because I'm happy that some of the people that I grew up are making it, and I'm happy for them. And I'm okay with how things are working out for me. But definitely there's always that, what if I'd stayed? What could have been? But still comes back to the point that also I'm grateful for the path that I've walked, because it has shaped me to become the man that I am. I've got to experience different people, different culture, and I've been in places which probably had I stayed in Zimbabwe, I probably would never have experienced. I get to meet people, interesting people from different standings in life, social standings, and it's been a blessing. But as well, like you said, there's always that feeling yakuti, and obviously, ultimately, we want to go back home. We want to settle back home, and we want to go back home and hopefully make it home as well.
And make it home as well. Now I want to pose that same question to you. I know you've asked yourself before that question. What if you have stayed? What do you think would have happened to you? we know you have told us you are meeting new people, you are doing this, you are doing that. I personally know you are doing very well here in the UAE. Because I know you. But I'm asking now, what if you had stayed?
Too many scenarios that could probably have happened. I always say to people, especially the diaspora, sometimes we look at social media, we see things that are happening back home. It's easy for us to judge one because like now with the pandemic, you could Toriro and all that and stuff to say, no. It could easily be me. It could easily be any one of us.
That's
because
true.
It just sometimes situations, environment, the people that you're around. There's a saying, Yoguti, no go now, usingatodiki fish, but kanojishanda panobatwa fish. No, fish. The same thing is with, I work in hospitality industry. Sometimes I don't smoke, but sometimes you spend a whole entire shift in a place where people are smoking. So that's the same thing is with them. We could have turned out worse or we could have turned out good. It depends how certain decisions could have shaped us in that time. Because now, when you look back at it, you're like, but it's because you haven't walked that path, you haven't been in those shoes, so you don't know certain decisions that you made. Because in terms of my decisions and choices that I've done, abroad, that was a realization that, you know what, I could have, because
True, that's true.
We have done things that you hear someone say, or people that have been killed by people for doing something that you've done and you have got away with it. So yeah, there's definitely a lot of ifs. I could have been this, I could have that. We could always speculate, but it could have turned out anyway.
And you are the right person for this topic because you have been in the diaspora for a very long time. And what is it that you think as experts zvatinokanganisa zvatisiri kuita ona as experts zvaunofunga kuti you know what, I think we should do things this way? Right, let me tell you personally, one thing that I think as experts zvatisiri kuita zvatinofana kuita, I think there's nothing wrong with us having like my GoFund, because some things they just happen unexpectedly. Nyaya funeral policy as experts, personally, I feel like it's one thing that we take for granted, but it's something that is very important. Because sometimes when Mwari anozongokutora, sooner or later tinongotorwa naMwari. And for me, ndiri munhu anga asinganyanya kuda kurarama life kuda zvinhu kune vanhu, kubhega nechi, and then zvozoitika wafa. It's something that I feel like as experts tofana kuimprove. That's me. And what is it that you feel like, I think as experts, as vanhu vari kurarama mudiaspora, we can do things differently, we can do things better panyaya izvi. What do you think?
I think ndichangozvisa muone green kuti, because zvozvamutaura izvozvo, having a funeral policy, it's all about pulling my funeral policy. It's pulling together so that at least when the unexpected happens, it helps. So for me, I think it comes back to what I feel where we're lacking is we're failing to build communities that support each other. I would speak for my people, which is Zimbabwean people. I feel when we are in Zimbabwe, when we are in the diaspora, we have this tendency of, especially when things are going well, for me as an individual, like, you know what, I'll focus on myself, I'll do my own thing. And we kind of brag about, you know what, and don't give Mazim Sekos. I hear a lot of people say, and Farid Mazim Sekos. But at the end of the day, when you build a community, I know Kuti, there's no perfect community. And I wouldn't say having Zimbabwean people will definitely make your life easy. Of course, there's going to be issues, there's going to be gossip, there's going to be friction between people because we come from different backgrounds. But once you build a strong community to help each other, to support each other, because support vanhu vanongofunga kuti kana ndiri kusapota inyaya yekuti ndichazoda mari kana ndafa kana ndaita sei. My experience with Dubai is probably one of the most depressed countries in the world, because everyone is so much individualistic. So that support of having a community of people that you can hang around with, people that you can talk to, people that you can reach out to, actually helps to make our life in the diaspora easy. So once you develop a community here in Dubai, it's easy as well to think for the greater community, which is back home, which is what you're saying as well, Kuti. You want to make it easy for people at the time when, which is inevitably happens, Kuti, maragutorai. So we need to start thinking more of us living in a community with other people and create a network of people that we mutually support each other. Because your own area can support her, I have my own area and don't support her. And the question is, you look at someone, it's like, I don't pay. But definitely everyone is important. And somehow there's a meeting place where we meet and we need each other. And I've realized it over years. Some of the most successful people that are here is because they've managed to build a community around them. Because life happens right now. Things changes just like that. We had COVID a few years ago. Things changes like that. One moment you're there, and one moment everything is gone. And when you've built a community around you, it's easy to have people hold your hand, carry you forward, move with you. But imagine the fall will be harder because there's no one to break a fall.
There's no one to break a fall. There is another nugget, guys. And there's no one to what?
To break a fall.
To break a fall.
It's like a tree. It's not a pass. Check my pass. It's just a free fall. Nothing breaks up. But when you making sure that there's branches, by the time you're not done, somewhere, but the fall won't be
that hard,
as bad as just falling without branches. So have people around you that when you fall, or they can always hold your hand.
We always have nuggets for you guys. So, and when we were talking, you spoke about depression. And depression is one of the things, needs our diaspora because of loneliness. The next thing, you have to you have a minimum rest time. You don't have social life. Families are Zimbabwe or something.
And
and so depression is real in the diaspora. Kanye East on this podcast. One of our hosts pronounced Kanye East.
Okay.
And we spoke about it. And the response was, you know what, depression is real in the diaspora. So how do you think we can deal with this?
Okay. Some mental health for me is something also that is very close to my heart, because back in South Africa I work with people in that kind of field. So it's something that's close to my heart, mental health. And I feel in Dubai it becomes even more important, because in Dubai you probably have everyone from everywhere. And so it's easy to be disconnected from everyone. And like you said, our working hours, it's 10 hour shifts. You have especially vanogara kunana shaja, you have a traveling time here 4 hours on the road. So which means you have 10 hours at work plus another 4 hours of maybe on the road. That is like 14 hours. That's also your day. That is a probably bigger portion of a day that is gone. And then you need 6-8 hours to sleep, maybe 1 hour at home, you could prepare and all that stuff. So sometimes we don't have time for ourselves, time to build human connections. And some people varugara mu bed space where there is a Nigerian, there's a Cameroonian, and those people are also tired. So I don't no time for conversation because maybe time border. So that human element goes away. And what I've noticed, because it's easy to judge people when you look at people, is that one thing that most people we tend to overlook, or that is people we don't want to accept, is Dubai is very alcohol reliant. And another part that is kind of controversial is Dubai is super sexually charged. And I think, very.
Tell me about it.
And the reason is those are the coping mechanisms that only people can have. Alcohol is because, of course, alcohol is alcohol. People want to forget. People want to drown their sorrows. The sex part is, this is the only time certain people feel some sense of real human connection to any to any other person. So that's the only time they feel that real connection. Because other than that, the connection is not there. We don't have people around us. We don't have family, which comes back to the point I was saying, build a circle around you. Have people, have a community of people that checks up on you, that you also check up on. And at the end of the day, people now are using alcohol and the sex part too. And people think, go to Dubai. It's not because people want that, because most of the people that are doing that, I've had the opportunity to speak to some people who do that. I've had to see there as well. But to some, that's the only time they feel any real connection to another human being.
Wow, that's so deep and really unfortunate. So guys, we are going to take a small break and we'll be back just now. So welcome back, guys. And before we took the short break, he said something that was very touching. That, it's a reality of what is happening in the diaspora, but you spoke about how people are using sex as a
coping mechanism,
of calming them down from depression and stuff. Can you go deep? Can you go deep on this?
I think says Nangotara earlier, something that our human nature is always looking for that human interaction, human connection. We need that connection. And like I said, sex is probably the easiest way to find a connection for most people, because that's one thing that everyone knows to do well. Conversations are difficult. Conversating with people are difficult because you need to find a common subject that you also agree with, same intellect, same thing. But that's when animals do it. So that's so it's easy to connect on that level. And like I said, people end up doing that because that's the easy option to go to. And my only concern now is that it creates, rather than fixing the depression part, it also ends up creating more of those depression phases, because the ultimate end of having those continuous sexual relationships on stuff is you nyango munogona ngemi iri an arrangement yekuti tsungoitisana, but people end up wanyura. Now you are one depression yemjolo because munhu yo wangochitisa naye uruda kumuda, maybe yeye hakwanisi kukuda the way yauri kufunga kuti anofana kukuda naye, either because he's married or he has other people or he's not ready to be in a committed relationship or the nature relationship yauri kutsvaka. And iyarungoza kuti ndozva muri kuita. Now you're catching feelings for this person. Now you fight, instead of just fighting depression ari konzeruswa nebasa, disconnect from people, pressure ye, upenyu, and all that and stuff. Now you're fighting also depression in Jolo. And now instead of fixing it, also end up creating more, besides the usual risk yokuti vanonorwara mukangorwara tunoziva kuti takaenda
Takaenda, hapana. So it's unfortunate, guys, and this is just real. This is what is happening
No, it's a sad
in the
reality.
diaspora. I know even back home, you guys who are from back home, it's also happening. But here in the diaspora, it's more real because depression here is more real because of lack of company sterek. Gonna kunge muri privileged vanhu vari kumba. So yeah, it's really, when you spoke about it, then also feel out, yeah, these things are happening and it's really unfortunate. So as we move forward, when you look back at who you were when you were in Zim, like who you were and your attitude, the way you, and everything that you used to be, what is it that you look back and say, you know what, I was actually better when I was like this than what I am now?
The thing is, the innocence. The innocence. Maybe because when I left, I was very young and super innocent, very innocent. The diaspora takes away your innocence, and I mean innocence in every level, because you are forced to become, whether you're a boy, you live, no matter at what age you live, you're forced to become a man. You're forced to become your own person. You now have to think wider. You stop being a child, because when you're home, sometimes when things get tough, you fall back on mama, you have uncles, you have people around you who can take you out of that. And then, but when you are in the diaspora, the reality becomes that, you know what, shit hits the fan, you have to fix it. You have to find a solution. You have to be the one to do it. And then that added responsibility, because when you've left home to go outside of the country, the assumption back home is, muna aribo. So there is an expectation also from home. One expect, you know what, I'm Aduargo Dubai, write something. So, and you also need to also make sure that you take care of people. You need to take of that. And then another thing that I felt Kuti was taken away from us is that always privilege, which people don't understand, of always having a community of people that knows you for the person that you are, that you can always fall back to when things are not working out, that can come and support you doing certain things. Because when you're in another country, there's a lot of things that you cannot do. There is that freedom to express and be yourself that you're not able to do as compared as when you are outside. Because no matter what, even Yangoka 30, 40 years, even Yangoka pure ID, it will still use, it's not your country.
There's a void.
There's always that void. There's always that reminder. Sometimes you get reminded from Warjenika, you know what, I was so when you're not, and it's the reality of it. So I feel these are some of the things that were taken from us. But also on the flip side, but there's also things that I felt good. Had I stayed home, some quick lessons, first lessons that I learned, you know, that the responsibility aspect, the ability to check off myself, to be able to think with a different mind, to see life from a different perspective. Not that Kutinduguti, I'm better than people at home, but I think when you go outside, you have a different perspective, because when you live, the world is too big. So when you live in one place and you don't move, you probably think that your small circle is the bigger world that's all to it. But when you go out there, you realize, you know what, there's more out there. There's a lot that we can learn, we can experience, we can see, and that can push you to grow, to want more from life, because there's a lot that life can give us.
There's more that life can give us, for sure. And so as we round up now, Kenny, I want you to just talk to someone out there, right? Someone out there who is thinking of leaving Zim, right? I want you to be frank and to be honest with them, because, you know, sometimes like for me,
Hatiudzani chokwadi.
hatiudzani chokwadi. And people, they have high expectation of diaspora. Like for me, I have relatives who are saying, ndoda kuuya, sekuru ndite ndiuye, chichi. Of course, munhu anogona kungouya, but sometimes challenge inenge iripo ndeyekuti expectation yake zvaari kuexpecta kuti achasvika achibva aita.
That's not the reality.
So I want you to be really frank with someone out there who wants to come to diaspora. What should they expect? The good and the bad of what to expect.
So I'll start with just saying kuti from the bed. I think we always have an old saying, which literally translates that as long as you go away from home, from the comfort of home, don't expect to find life easy. Diaspora is not as easy as how people perceive it, because we were also that time. Tatumbo vazukuru vavena na sekuru overseas, and we had huge expectations of those anasekuru kuti vari ku UK, vari ku States, devanditra zvakati, devanditumira zvakati, until you get to come here, and then you find some of the struggles that they face every day. The diaspora, yes, it's good because, like I said, there's a lot of opportunities for growth, mindset shifts, the economic aspect of it. If you're in a good country, that actually helps. It actually changes your life in many ways. But also, it's not a bed of roses. It's not like you're just going to come here and mabasa chachao no going to work to start and I know a lot of people that have degrees that are working as security guards, that are cleaners. Some are even struggling to find even rachoreko cleaner rachiroro. It's reality. It's reality. And cleaning ajono get kind of 1,800 dirhams, which probably is not a lot to sustain you here. And still remember, there's still an expectation home from people kuta kana iri mombe anga akatengeswa chinzi mwana ari kuenda ku diaspora. Obviously ana baba na mama vari kuexpect kuti mwana achata say return on investment.
Yeah,
return on investment.
That's
we call it black tax, but it's a return on investment. Vanenge vachita mwana akaita say kana iri mari yangu akakwereta kuti utenge ticket rendege uite visa, you still need to pay. But you watch now, you cannot even. And reality on Ojinji, especially here in Dubai, people are even struggling to sustain. Yes, you will see us dressed up, takapeka, or maybe you see us with pictures, Tiriku Burj Khalifa, Tiriku Miracle Garden, and all that and stuff. It's those once in a while opportunities that we get to go out there. It's not our everyday reality.
True, that's true.
So as long as people get to understand Kuti, that's not it. But there are people here as well that are doing well, that came here with nothing and having successful, and their lives have changed. They managed to change the lives of people back home. So I'm not saying people don't come, but I'm saying even if you come, we are winning. My expectations are
with a sober mind.
With a sober mind. Things might not be musasema tengesa dzimba because you have to want to go back home. Don't burn bridges back home, because you might need those bridges again. Always maintain good relationships if that you have back home. So I went to Dubai now breaking, because you might definitely need those people at some point.
And yeah, true.
Although it's been also sunshine for a lot of people as well.
That's true. So from your last remarks, I think what I'll take back home is, don't burn bridges.
Don't burn bridges.
Don't burn bridges. Whether muno macho or muno macho man ngati benefit my bridge.
Just to add on that, I think one of the other things that happens is even patinoya kwacho unevana nokuunza because atinoita ndezvokuti yopa kwauya, and I'm sure there was a connection with someone who said come here and all that and stuff. Unotono paunoshikira, and the people that take you on. And kazhinji kacho munotozona kuti it takes a lot of sacrifice for someone to accommodate you, to feed you, to do all those things. And kazhinji kacho tinoita ndezvoti once tauya and then we start meeting other people, tinokana kangana neava vatakauya, because nokuti patakasvikira akasondigarisa mubed space make maigara uri mupartition make. Now I have friends that have a villa or a 3-bedroom apartment. Ndakuona nge munhu asina basa, but sakanga nokuti iye akakuunza, it takes a lot of effort, sacrifice, because it's not easy kuti usikongovhura door remunhu hausiri kuziva kuti zveshuwa achasikawana basa, munhu utacheta, because if it fails you become a burden. So don't, because kazhinji kacho tinozokanganwa vanhu ivavo takuona nge vanhu vasina basa. But usually keep them close, always appreciate them, and you don't know kuti mama blessings acho arikutobva pakutoti those people had a prayer for you, had a good word, positive word for you.
What you're saying is kana pasemon zvinogona kutadza kutaura. It's really deep. For sure, I'm sure even our viewers can agree with me kuti what you're saying is really deep, and a lot of people, if you start to reflect, zveshuwa unotoona kuti une mumwe munhu not even pawakasvikira or anything, mumwe munhu akakubetsera kana kuwana basa, kana mumwe munhu
akakupa 10 dirham yeningrini yanga story na 10 dirham yemetro, because that time you didn't have money yokuenda metro. Aikupa link yokuti you know what, enda muka uende pakati, aimuka niona TM achiita prayer newe, because varipo kana waigara mabest place maitomuka moti ngatimuke sudara tamaking. These days vanochita tamaking here these days. I remember back in the days there was tamaking. Unemunhu wawachita matamaking mats. Maimuka 2 a.m. 3 a.m. let's pray, then muka makaenda train station and moving around in places. Don't forget, don't lose those people.
Wow.
Because yes, people are
watoniparadzira zvemwe mufeso wangu so anonzi Doni aripo mufesi akandidzidzisa haso, because madezi ndanisa ndawana graft andidzisa haso rekutengesa malaptop. Awandudza kuti ndauradza mukoto nditengeswa malaptop. Of course I had my money yanga ndinayo. Doni wacho ari kutonzwa podcast ine ari panapa, ari mukati umwe ari kunzwa mukalai. Saka chi ndakatozitanga kutorarama life ndikatombokanganwa kutsvaga graft, because I was just doing that business. And what you're saying, but sometimes tosvikanganwa, because unongo wapfura stage yekudhara, that was like 6 years back.
My destiny helpers that for
munhu anenge atokuvhurira rimwe gap rekuti,
and it takes a lot, because how many people with opportunities that never open those doors for you.
But
for him that was probably his hustle. He's taking you into his hustle. Utotora some of his clients that you could be, but that selflessness yekuti, and those people are very, very important, and we should always find a way to treasure and cherish them.
Anyway, guys,
thank you for now look at the platform.
My own. Saka guys, as we close up now, mabata, I'm sure pane vane zvamanzwawo and pane vada kubvunza or something vada kuti say, you can always comment, guys. The comment section is open for you. Nyorai zvamunoda comment section ndenyu. And as we round up, guys, so toda kuti tingoramba tichingosimbisana kuti chinhu chino ndechedu tese. Ado anenge achinzi chichi, but chinhu chedu tese, and we want to push this thing, and your contribution is needed. That like, that view, that share is needed. So let's just keep on pushing this thing chisvike chaipo, because iwo unogona kuwana something chawadzidza, but it's not just you. Mumwe munhu anodawo kudzidza something from what we share with you guys on this platform. So bro, I really want to thank you for coming, and I know we are going to be having you more and more. On more and more sessions.
Thank you.
That was it for today, guys, and cheers.
Thank you.